teams in too? Oh, nice. Nice work.
All right, well now we're back with our second semifinals match. Nicholas Borghi versus Joshua Lorcy.
Give us a minute.
I think we're ready to go.
Yeah.
What are we waiting on?
I just want to make sure the stream is good and it goes live. Because I know it takes a minute, but I just want to make sure everything's running.
Sure, sure.
Okay, I think we're good.
Can only hope. That took like, what, 2 minutes?
Let's just turn off the stream delay for next. Alright, should be going up.
Keyboard.
Yeah, I know, it's just like... Alright, you want to get started?
Let's do it. All right, once again, Joshua Lorcy versus Nicholas Borghi. We have Nicholas on the bottom featuring Kangaskhan, Thunderous, Aegis Slash, Landers, Therian, Heatran, Azumarill, while Joshua was bringing Thalmets, Entei, Thunderous, Melodic.
Oh, you should change the Twitter handles.
Oh, that's right. You can do that too. Melodic and Breloom.
In-game music should be on.
I turned it back on. Yeah, it should be on.
The game music is very low.
Okay, yeah, get the game music. Yeah, get that to like 10%.
It's too much, or too low, or too low.
I know, it's always... Once you find the balance, though, you're good. Yeah, we're good. Alright, so we are here in the second top 4 match. Mike and I are back on the commentary booth. We've got Nicholas Borghi against Joshua Lorcy. Both of these are players that aren't too well known outside the local scene, but they both had really good seasons here at the New York, New Jersey area. Nicholas having a really dominating 4 Premier Challenge wins in a row, and Joshua, I played him a bunch, and he's rocking a really cool team here. A very strong player, made multiple top cuts, so I'm excited for this one.
They're a unique team, actually.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that Entei
Unique
sticks out
combination
immediately.
team. Items here. I mean, we've seen a lot of these legendary. We've seen Salamence and Thunderous, Melodic, Breloom, Aegis Slash, all a lot, but not this particular combination before.
Right. I mean, Nicholas here rocking a more standard-looking team, nothing there too out of the ordinary. I do think Entei is a very cool Pokemon that hasn't seen as much VGC. Jive Time, I know, used it at Massachusetts Regionals, and a bunch of other players have used it here and there, but it hasn't had a really solid finish. Players typically like to use the bulkier variant with Snarl and Substitute, where you can really shut down teams, but some players also like to opt for the the offensive variant, taking advantage of the Sacred Fire.
Well, those usually carry Assault Vest, actually.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And Bulldoze is a pretty frequent option. But I don't know if that's the case here. In fact, let's consult the handy team sheet. Oh, that's an interesting item choice.
Nice. I think that item makes a lot of sense.
Check out that move.
I like that
move.
move. We'll see if it comes out, but we're gonna get into this match now.
I doubt it, but I'd love to see it here.
We did. It's 15, I think it's good. And here we go, we do see the Entei. So we have Thunderous and the Heatran coming out from Nicholas' side, and the Breloom and the Entei coming out from Joshua's side.
Pretty decent leads all around. The Breloom might be problematic here, considering Heatran can hit it for super effective damage, and the Thunderous can taunt it right away. So I think Joshua's best interest to retreat it for later and save it for a more opportune time. Entei here can attack right away. Sacred Fire, get some burn damage on that Thunderous, maybe start chipping it away.
Right.
Then she'll still has some other moves, Bulldoze, Stone Edge potential.
But we're gonna see the Breloom go for the Protect here, and the Thunder Wave goes out onto the Entei, so that's going to prevent it and slow it down for a couple, for the remainder of the match. And Heatran goes for a substitute there. I like that play, really safe. There's not much you can lose there, given that both already outspeed. But Entei there does go for the Stone Edge there on Slot Thundurus. Higher crit ratio, doesn't get that critical hit, and procs the Citrus Berry from Thundurus.
Yeah, it's too bad for Joshua here. He didn't go all offense here, considering the Thunder Wave.
Yeah.
If he had, say, spored the Thundurus here, been in a much more advantageous position. But now he's Bird Protect, he's vulnerable to a taunt there.
And I like that first turn from Nicholas there. It was relatively, risk-free, I mean, he doesn't know how fast his Heatran is relative to... it's game 1, right? So we don't know how fast Heatran is relative to Breloom and Entei. I'm not sure if both trainers know that, but it's really good information there for both of them to know, like, Heatran's the fastest Pokemon there.
Especially with Substitute being able to get a protective shell up.
Right. And so Breloom here is probably going to want to switch out, as it does. So we'll see what comes in here.
Bringing in... Kite Code the
Milotic. Nice.
Not a bad choice, considering he was unlikely to Thunderbolt in that slot. Nope.
You see the Thunderbolt comes out, but not onto that one.
And the double target on the Earthquake. That's pretty potent. For super effective damage. It does take out the Entei there. Bulky, but not bulky enough here, especially being too slow for any Snarl shenanigans here.
Yep. And once again, a really safe turn there, Breloom against Thundurus and Heatran just has a pretty terrible matchup. I mean, you can get a Spore off at most, but then you really have to be making some predictions because you have to avoid the double target into that slot, and, you could taunt, obviously, as well.
Yeah, Joshua playing it too safe on that turn 1 really is hampering him here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're behind like that and your lead matchup isn't optimal, you typically want to switch out to put yourself into a better position. I mean, like the Milotic here, even though Milotic doesn't like taking Thunderbolts too well, if it has a Moringa Berry or Recover, you can heal back a bit. Milotic is also one of the better answers to Heatran, and it doesn't look like Joshua has any answers right now to Nicholas's team at all, because he just brings the Breloom right back in.
Well, Joshua might be able to take out Thundurus here if it goes all out offensive, Spore or an Ice Beam, but Heatran is still a problem. We'll be able to take out the Breloom, or at least bring it down to 1 HP no matter what. No, Joshua's still playing it safe here. We see another Thunder Wave going down on the Melodic. Nicholas on point with all his predictions here.
And the Scald comes out, targeting the Thundurus at least, so getting some damage off here, but isn't enough.
Nope. Yeah, not enough.
And not the burn either, so rough turn there. Now with Milotic paralyzed, his chances of attacking are slimmer. Mach Punch here probably won't be able to pick up the knockout onto Thundurus, and we could see a Heat Wave, a Thunderbolt onto either Pokemon. But Breloom, a Pokemon that almost always carries Focus Sash. Very rarely you'll see maybe a Choice Scarf, but basically the Focus Sash is, I think, by far the best item on it, just because it ensures that most of the times you get a Spore off, but in this position, probably not going to be able to get a Spore off when you're slower than both Pokemon, so it's a really difficult position.
Getting rid of that substitute shell, making it vulnerable to a Scald here, but that's not going to do enough. That's not going to do enough damage here.
Yeah.
Hidden Power. It looks like he's going to double target down the Breloom rather than go for a taunt instead. Probably a smarter choice here, especially since Breloom's not going to survive this round.
Right.
It's going to activate that Moringa Berry if Melodic has one there.
Doesn't look like it does.
I don't know.
So that's it does.
There we go. I was just off. Off in the timing there.
So that makes this match a bit more interesting now, since that Milotic is a lot stronger. But he unfortunately targets Heatran. Had he targeted the Thundurus slot, he would have regained so much more momentum, just because Thundurus is the one Pokemon that really threatens the Milotic. And now, the special defense drop increase here helps out a lot, but it is 2-4, and Nick is free to get another Thunder Wave off, especially with Salamence coming out here.
If he'd taken out that Thundurus right now, Salamence would not be vulnerable to a Thunder Wave here, and Salamence and Melodic against Heatran.
Right.
What is it going to do against them?
I totally agree, and I think that was a big missed opportunity, unfortunately, for Joshua. Thundurus here now, he could go straight for the Thunder Wave onto Salamence, and then you have some mind games, does Salamence protect? But even if it does, Milotic has to not get fully paralyzed to get an attack off. This also sets up the opportunity for Heatran to potentially get a substitute up, but you just gotta look at it, and it's like, it would have been so much better if that Thundurus went down, since it's just a big threat right now, and not only that, Joshua's not going to get the Intimidate on any of the physical type attackers on Nicholas's team. And he goes for the Thunder Wave, no Protect from Salamence.
Not help here. I mean, there's still a chance.
Absolutely.
If Joshua managed to take out both Heatran Thunders here.
Was Hyper Voice enough? It's
no,
not going
Thunder
to be.
survived with 2 HP.
Yeah, it's not a
Heat Wave.
move you should be using to expect the knockout there onto Thunderous. Surprised he didn't go for a Dragon type attack like Draco Meteor or Dragon Pulse, but probably doesn't want to decrease that special attack.
There's a Scalded Thunderous, 1 turn too late, unfortunately.
So Salamence unfortunately gets paralyzed, and now Nicholas has 2 full Pokemon in the back. Milotic here still can help out a lot, but I would guess that Nicholas is Kangaskhan, which is pretty good in terms of dealing with Milotic and Salamence, and we're going to see the Kangaskhan come in right here.
Yeah, with all that offensive pressure, it's hard to see Nicholas not winning this one at all. So, as far as adjustments Joshua can make, he's going to have to play more aggressively.
Absolutely, and also not bring the the Breloom. They really didn't do anything, and you can see why Breloom is tempting because it can spore the Aegislash, and even if it King Shields, it can get a super effective Mach Punch off against the Kangaskhan and Heatran. But I don't think Breloom is necessarily the best call here. We're going to see Nicholas Mega Evolve his Kangaskhan, potentially going for a Fake Out. It's actually going to go for the Protect. Okay, let's see what, and the Heat Wave comes out. Okay.
Not too bad.
Yeah, so he reveals the Protect there, just because, some Kangaskhan's a Pokemon. You want to know whether it carries Protect or Fake Out.
Yeah, that is a pretty key reveal there.
Yeah.
It might have been better for Nicholas here to just simply attack and not reveal that Protect.
Right. But, he is, at this point, he's just doing whatever he can to win this game. Yeah, once again, he's probably protecting there to see if Salamence Protect. He doesn't want to get Scald Burned by that Milotic. Unfortunately, Milotic did get fully paralyzed there, so wasn't able to get an attack off. And we do have Protect Mind Games once again this turn, since Joshua opted not to protect that previous turn. So we'll see what he decides to do here. But Heatran, as you see, still not doing very much. I actually would think,
Mind Games are not going to save Josh here, but another key information revealed. Heatran is faster than that Kangaskhan.
Yeah, and Milotic survives. Can we see a double knockout this turn? Draco Meteor comes out, targeting down the Kangaskhan, so revealing Draco Meteor. We've seen Draco Meteor on Hyper Voice. It's not going to pick up the knockout at full HP.
No,
wow.
that's a very bulky Kangaskhan. 207 HP,
yeah.
max HP.
And another full paralysis for Milotic. So despite the Heat Wave double miss there, not really mattering much there, and now Nicholas will be able to seal up the game, especially with that Salamence at -2 special attack, and that's why the paralysis is so good.
It is, but honestly, I have a hard time feeling for Joshua here, considering there is some choices that he made that he could have avoided that paralysis going on at all.
Right, and Nicholas utilized his Pokemon a lot better in this game. Kangaskhan, Heatran, and Thunders were all able to put in a lot of work, whereas Joshua's Entei and Breloom really weren't able to do very much at all. And I think going into the next game, he'll probably want to take advantage of this Milotic a bit more since it's really good.
Yeah, that Breloom will not be able to support his partner Entei at all here.
Absolutely.
So it looks like Joshua might have to bring much more offense to improve on his lead match at the next turn.
Right, and so we're going to see Nicholas take that one and win this first one. So Nicholas is out up. This is, of course, best of 3, so Josh is going to have to win the next 2 if he wants a chance of advancing to the finals. Of course, John, I believe, advanced in the other side of the bracket, so both of these players fighting for a spot to face John. But pretty commanding game there by Nicholas, I would say.
Yeah, and looking at the team matchup, Joshua's team composition here. Well, let's see what potential leading combinations. There's Salamence and Entei. It's offensively strong, but at risk of getting Thunder Waved again.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Joshua's team, he has no answer really to Thundurus.
Except his own Thundurus, perhaps.
Right. That's the only thing, and we don't know how fast they are relative to each other, which kind of stinks. And that's why, typically you like to have super effective attacks that hit Thundurus like Rock Slide or Ice Beam. And Joshua here, the Salamence can Draco Meteor or Hyper Voice, but we saw the Hyper Voice couldn't even pick up the knockout there.
Not even.
Right.
Stone Edge seems to be the hardest hitting thing.
Yeah.
And again, he had some missed opportunities there.
Yeah, absolutely.
To take out the threatening Thundurus.
Right. So we're going to see how he can adjust here, but I do think that Nicholas's Thundurus is just such a big threat to start off, and so Josh is really going to have to play around that. And the nice thing for Nick here is he can just lead safely. I mean, like, the Thundurus and the Thundurus lead last time just put on so much pressure, and Heatran, being able to outspeed Breloom and the Entei on his side is problematic, since Aegislash and Milotic are going to be slower as well. Salamence can't really touch it, so if you're Joshua here, you might want to bring your own Thundurus this time and Thunder Wave the Heatran. So we're going to get into this one. We'll see how both players adjust.
Looks like we're looking... Okay, return to the Thundurus and Kangaskhan, putting up all the offensive pressure, as well as status presence. Joshua
gonna see the
James lead.
Thunderous this time
Thunderous,
around.
okay, good. That's probably one of his best answers to that Thunderous there.
Absolutely.
But, and especially knowing that his Thunderous is not vulnerable to fake out.
Right. Nicholas here does manage to bring out the Kangaskhan, and Kangaskhan is kind of nice here because you could actually fake out the Thunderous first turn and taunt it immediately.
Joshua
but he doesn't
knows
have fake
He
out.
has
That's
protect
correct.
and likely, not the fake out.
Right,
there.
I totally forgot about that. Great
so
point.
Thunder Wave is actually pretty safe here. Pretty decent counter lead here.
And yeah, especially without the fake out now, you know your Thunderous, unless Nicholas's Thunderous is faster and taunts it beforehand. But Entei here, also a pretty solid Pokemon given its bulk. You could Stone Edge the Thunderous as we've seen. Joshua here might actually opt to just double target it, but it's that Thunderous, Nicholas realizes is important. He's going to switch it out, get the Intimidate off here as well. But who knows? We might see a Sacred Fire go into that Kangaskhan slot.
Maybe, maybe not. I kind of expect to protect at this rate, just to stop any incoming Thunder Waves, considering how detrimental it was in the last round.
Right.
And the Entei may very well be faster than that Kangaskhan without the paralysis drop, so...
Oh, but we do see the Thunderbolt come out targeting Kangaskhan. We're going to see a Sacred Fire come out here as well. Sacred Fire comes out.
Wow.
Beautiful play there by Joshua. Does he get the burn, though? A burn here would be absolutely huge. Oh, gets the critical hit and the burn!
Nice.
Joshua clearly elated about that. Frustration comes out, gonna target down that Entei, but with that burn, wow, look at that bulk from Entei. Takes that like a champion.
Very good adjustment in tactics there.
Right.
Going from, just playing cautiously to all-out offensive, and now it's paying off here right away. With a little help from Lady Luck there.
Oh, but that's a fantastic turn. You couldn't have asked for a better turn if you're Joshua there. And like you mentioned, after that first game, you said he needed to make the more offensive plays. He just made the more offensive play.
Yeah, but now, Nicholas is actually in a pretty good defensive position. He has Rock Slide support, which is super effective against both Thunders and Entei there.
Yep.
Heatran also has a super effective Earth Power against that Entei. And doesn't look like Entei has anything that can hit either of those two super effective there. So...
Yeah, it's so momentum-wise, Nicholas here has definitely got to be feeling pretty good, even though he lost Kangaskhan.
Yeah, it's not terribly overwhelming, but it's still a decent position, and it's his best chance for recovering from this 4-3 deficit.
Absolutely. So we actually saw the Heatran go for the Protect there, so no Protect coming out from Thundurus or Entei. Could we see a double target here onto the Landorus slot since no Thunder Wave
Or a
came out?
flinch. Might see that. Nope.
Sacred Fire
Fire
comes
Sacred
out.
Fire going out.
The Sacred Fire is putting in work. Do we get another burn here? Let's see. Nope, but
No.
unfortunately the Thundurus flinches. So
Well, there is a
can't have all the RNG on your side. Hidden Power Ice would have been huge though, because then Thundurus could have. Well, Thundurus here can still choose to Thunder Wave the Heatran here, but
Especially since it just protected is vulnerable.
right. So I'm sure you would have preferred to pick up the knockout there, but Thundurus here should take another Rock Slide, so another percent chance of getting a Hidden Power Ice.
Entei, though, no. Unless Rock Slide misses, Joshua either could withdraw to safety. It looks like he is, but what can he switch into taking that hit? It's Keiko the Melodic. That's a pretty good switch in.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't take a lot from Rock Slide. It can take nothing from a Heat Wave.
And could potentially get the special defense increase from
Yes,
Ranga
exactly.
Oh, but that Rock Slide,
But
was that a critical hit?
that is a critical hit.
Unfortunately, It was. So, despite Joshua having the better RNG that first turn, Nicholas getting some really fortunate luck the last two turns. That Landers really should have been gone, but instead it goes down, and that's why Landers is so good. But Milotic here does get the special defense increase.
Okay, it's great that Joshua has one defensive Pokemon on the field, but does he have a second?
Right.
Because then Nicholas can simply focus on the weak spot here, which is, it looks like the Salamence, weak to the Rock Slide, not so weak against the Heat Wave. But that Landorus is intimidated, and Salamence has a good opportunity to take out that Landorus right here and now.
Yeah.
Eliminate one threat.
This is actually a really awkward position for Nicholas because, your Salamence is intimidated. And typically when you're intimidated, you want to switch out, but if you switch out and switch back in, Milotic just gets the boost. And as you see here, Nick's not going to choose to switch out, and Joshua's in a really good position. Let's see if he can capitalize off this turn. I think is really important.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Go over the text. Looks like Melodic might try for a Scald or an Icy Wind, perhaps?
Or recover, but we're going to just see Rock Slide.
Yeah, choosing to get no damage on that Salamence there. Heat Wave, not going to do much to...
Basically, fishing for the flinch or the burn at this
Or
rate.
burn, yeah.
Doesn't get it. Icy
Icy
Wind comes
Wind.
out.
Excellent.
Great turn
That's
there for...
either... If it doesn't KO, it's going to put it's going to make that Landorus slow enough for Salamence to finish it off.
Yeah, and I think actually if you're Nick there, or if you're Joshua there, you'd prefer Landorus not to go down because now your Salamence should outspeed it, and chances are you're just going to get a free knockout as opposed to Thundurus being out and potentially Thunder Waving and Thunderbolting.
Okay, so now Joshua is in very good offensive position, being faster than both of Nicholas' Pokemon. Nicholas has only one Pokemon left to switch out to, so who will we save? Landorus, the super fast Landorus with the Choice Scarf, or the full HP Heatran here? So Heatran actually might be able to take another hit here, so I kind of imagine he's going to try to preserve that Landorus at all possible. Especially since Rock Slide's going to still turn this game around.
Right, but he's not going to switch out. He's just
not
gonna,
even try.
And that Hyper Voice is going to come out, picks up the knockout at the Landorus. And I do think switching out Landorus might have been the call, just because you refresh that Intimidate and you give yourself the flinch chances again.
Yeah, and I don't see Nicholas' final Pokemon being able to save him from this situation.
It's that Thundurus, right?
Thundurus maybe, but that Melodic has a Berry boost.
Right.
Can still hit it with some Icy Winds and Scalds, and that Salamence is still a pretty decent health.
Absolutely.
Meteor will
Yeah, but Milotic, they're going for the better move instead of Scalding, which most likely would have not knocked out this Heatran, which is relatively bulky. He went for the
there is
recover.
the Thundurus coming in.
Yep. And so now, Thundurus does have Thunder Wave, and if you're Joshua, I mean, you can hit it with Draco Meteor. Hyper Voice isn't obviously doing any damage at this point.
Yeah, in fact, re-evaluating the situation, Joshua has only one Pokemon that can really hit that Thundurus very well, or the Heatran very well. So his only real offensive here is that Melodic here.
Right, but he's going to protect here, actually. So we know its moveset basically protect, Icy Wind, Scald, and recover. Thunder Wave does go into that. Great play.
He recognizes his Melodic is the key here.
Ooh,
good play, going for the substitute. That actually might be able to turn around here. This giving Nicholas enough free turns to work with.
Yeah, and that was a very unfortunate miss there. I mean, I don't expect 2 Draco Meteors to knock out the Thundurus, but 2 Draco Meteors plus the Skull should be able to finish up the deal. And now Nicholas here will actually be able to Thunder Wave the Milotic. And you would think Milotic could pull this one out, but with Paralysis being 25% chance, it's going to have to avoid multiple ones, and that's why Joshua wanted to eliminate it before anything else.
Yeah, I see Nick going to be ignoring the Salamence here in favor of the real offensive threat in the field here.
Yeah.
You see a Draco Meteor, but Thundurus can take that pretty easily and recover a lot of health with Citrus Berry. Yeah, just
takes a fair amount of damage there.
Okay, that's
if we see a Skull there, another Draco Meteor should be able to finish it off.
Unless Paralysis comes
right.
in.
And the Paralysis.
Dear. And here it begins.
That's you gotta feel like after that first turn, you're like, wow, Joshua is just in such a commanding position. But then Belander's sticking around for way too long. We get the full Paralysis now. It's still definitely doable here by means, just because Milotic here does have Recover. So unless he gets a Thunderbolt critical hit and multiple full Paralysis, I would still say the ball is in Joshua's park. But
well, now Salamence has to switch out if he's going to regain a special attack.
Right. Which might not actually be a terrible play, just because...
No, but it makes his final Pokemon vulnerable,
right.
Unfortunately.
Which is the Entei.
Heat Wave. Okay, that's actually not too bad.
Right.
Nicholas could go for Prediction, try to Earth Power that slot, but I don't think he's going to try to make the risk. He's going to try and take out that Melodic as best as he can.
Yeah.
So, probably Heat Wave, and no.
Oh, he reveals the Double Edge, so
Double
we
Edge.
do see Double Edge. I do like that a lot. Does a lot of damage. The Scald will take it out here, so let's see if he gets fully paralyzed this turn. Thunderbolt comes out onto the Milotic. I like that. You know that oh, that must be a critical hit.
The RNG swings back in Nicholas' favor here. So Melodic's defensive berry entirely nullified by that critical hit there.
That was hard to watch.
And the full power Heat Wave.
You gotta feel for Josh there.
Wow.
He made so many great adjustments there.
Yeah.
The RNG was not on his side after that first turn.
He was playing so well compared to that first game.
I mean, Nicholas did what he had to, right? He had to go for the crit there. He had to go for the Thunder Wave. But Joshua, first of all, missing that Draco Meteor in the late game there, getting fully paralyzed, getting the critical hit. I mean, that was everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And that's why Thundurus is a Pokemon that everyone loves. I mean, it's so good because you control the RNG. Thunder Wave can completely turn the game around. One full Paralysis is all it takes. And
the RNG brothers, Thundurus with the Swagger and Thunder Wave, and Landorus with his Rock Slide. But may they never be torn asunder.
So really heartbreaking one. We're not going to see a Game 3 here. Nicholas is going to defeat Joshua, and he'll be advancing on to the finals to face John. But wow.
That was... Tough cookies.
It's heartbreaking.
Tough cookies
It's heartbreaking.
there.
We were